no one's more autistic than the satanic elite. The fact that they're like, oh, well, we got to get this numerology shit. We have to make sure it's 666 exactly. All that shit. Like, really, the satanic elite are the most autistic individuals alive because of their numerology obsession.
They're schizo posting with their rituals.
Who are the real puppets of the New World Order? Are Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Kanye West our saviors, or are they nothing more than controlled opposition? Today on MK Ultra Money, acclaimed conspiracy theorist, master DruTang, or as I like to refer to him, Twitter's Alex Jones, joins us to discuss this topic along with other crucial topics such as the Moonchild, Marvel predictive programming, World War II secrets, chaos magic, and much, much more.
The first time I met DruTang, he told me the Donald Trump time traveler conspiracy. And then, of course, God Emperor declared presidential run. It's come full circle.
Yeah.
It was ordained.
But Drew, don't you, I don't know if you personally subscribe to it or at least, or not, but I see you talking with that guy, Donnie Darkened or whatever, about like Trump being the Antichrist. Yeah.
I don't think he's that important. I think Musk is way, way, way more important. I would agree, yeah. In terms, so basically what both me and Donnie Darko talk about is the Moonchild ritual, which was done by Marvel Jack Parsons, the guy who created liquid rocket fuel. He created Jet Propulsion Labs, which later became NASA. And he did the ritual with L. Ron Hubbard, who created Scientology. So he was in control of Tom Cruise, Will Smith, and basically all the movies these guys were a part of in Hollywood afterwards were basically helping to implement the plan that him and Marvel Jack Parsons came up with, which is basically to create a new religion and provide them a new savior, which basically replaces Christianity. So where Christianity is a son child, it's like the Christ, the Son of God. You have the Moonchild, which is like where Jesus is like the full expression of human divinity. The Moonchild is basically enhanced by artificial means. So think Iron Man. Think Iron Man compared to Captain America, think Batman compared to Superman. It's literally the same thing.
So it's like transhumanist Jesus.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. It's putting your faith. You have to put your faith. Their idea, what they want you to do is put your faith in technology and the advancement through like material means. And that is the Moonchild overall. And like, that's why I don't see Trump as like being the main character in that, because like he's basically like the Captain America. He's like the Nietzsche Ubermensch, where the actual Moonchild is a little different. It's not quite the Ubermensch. It's not like actual full human fulfillment. It's artificial.
Now, what do you think the odds are that like Trump is involved with all this like demonic New World Order, and what are the chances that
100%.
100%
he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely is. There's no way, because his uncle literally was the guy who they gave. When Tesla died, they gave all of Tesla's research to Professor John Trump. So, which he came up with a bunch of X-ray stuff. He was like on the forefront of a lot of big technological improvements, and he got all of Tesla's research. And
well, Tesla was a hack, right? Like all Tesla's shit was from like Tartaria and like all the ancient civilizations and shit. Because what I've been reading recently is that he pretty much like kind of transcribed it all and then like took credit.
I mean, that's definitely possible.
I guess it's besides the point.
But it doesn't really
he
matter.
still would have been the person to bring it in.
If he's the one to do it, and if he's the one to do it, and then John Trump's the one to get all of his research, then it still follows that John Trump and therefore Donald is the as far as the whole Donald Trump, Vares was talking about the Donald Trump time travel shit, which where did I tell you that? Was that in New York?
It was at the bar. It was literally the first conversation we ever had. Like I was just
2019?
2018 maybe even.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
2019.
I mean early, and it was like 19. I think it's early 19. Yeah,
like January probably. And like it happened like within like the first two exchanges of talking to you. I think at first you were like, "Oh, have you heard of what's the thing before Hive that was like
Oh, Steam.
Yeah. Like we talked about Steam for like half a second, then you were like, "Hey, have you heard about Baron Trump? The Baron Trump novels?" I was like, "No."
Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey in the last president.
That originated on 4chan, right? That theory.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
You still believe in any of that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I do think ultimately they're going to, whether or not he actually did, like if time travel is possible, whatever. There's DARPA whistleblowers right now who say that they time traveled using technology that was confiscated from Tesla after his death. So there is, and not that I actually value any whistleblowers, because like there's plenty of space program whistleblowers and whatever, like Corey Good, and there's a lot of fucking Gaia type motherfuckers that are just straight lying. But yeah, like maybe Bob Lazar might be telling the truth somewhat. And also I think this guy talking about Tesla time travel shit is,
I'm telling you, Mandela effect's not real.
Who's Bob Lazar? What's he?
You not familiar with Bob Lazar?
Went to Area 51.
Okay.
He
basically worked at Area 51. Yeah. And he said they worked on replicating recovered alien craft.
Alien.
But he doesn't do like UFO. He's like, they have a spaceship that has like anti-gravity shit, and it runs on like a radioactive isotope.
And that's I think that's at the core of the whole alien question too, James. What you just said. You can have UFOs and you can have advanced technology without saying that it came from a different planet.
Oh yeah, no,
glossed over, and that's ultimately like where everything leads. Is it's like, there are definitely, in my opinion, there are definitely UFOs, 100%. That fly in ways that we can explain and have much more advanced technology. That's 100% real, in my opinion. And the major problem with it is that they want to spin it as something that couldn't have been invented on Earth or couldn't have come from Earth.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. I always felt like most of the UFO sightings are like super advanced tech that's based on either like actual alien shit that's like they found, or like it's like super advanced tech that's just like a couple decades ahead of time. But I do think that I've always been more of the aliens or demons or angels are, the machine elves are whatever theories. Yeah.
If there's any advanced life out in the rest of the universe, the solar system, I don't believe it's come even close to us yet. I think the only entities that we as a human race have ever interacted with are either angels, demons, or just other creatures of Earth that people don't think are real or don't think are from Earth.
I think, and I think at the core of that whole issue is the difference between extraterrestrials and interdimensionals. I think in reality, it's interdimensionals.
Thank you. Finally, someone with sense.
Yeah. All right. So Donald Trump may or may not be the Antichrist. You say no. So you say Elon Musk is at the head of it all.
Yeah. But I'm still saying so when we talk about the whole Moonchild thing, it was a ritual done by that guy, Marvel Jack Parsons. So when we saw
was he the creator of Marvel Comics?
He didn't create Marvel Comics. That was like, if you want to look at like the origins of that, then there was Stan Lee who created Spider-Man and shit.
Yeah, I obviously know that with Stan Lee.
Yeah, and Stan Lee was one of 9 people hired by the army to be like written propagandists.
Yeah.
Like he was hired to make propaganda in the written form for the army. One of 9 people.
I mean, they have the Disney, Walt Disney, what do you call it thing now? Counterintelligence thing going on.
Walt Disney, he made tons of propaganda little cartoons for World War II. You're like, buy war bonds. We gotta fight Hitler. Like they really went hard. And then afterwards, they basically, Disney and NASA are basically the same entity.
Yeah.
Like they're both in Florida. They started, at the same time, because that's actually a thing too. My dad's dad was an electrician, and he started working at Cape Canaveral, building the fucking Apollo like rocket launch station, And then he moved over to Walt Disney World right after in Orlando and started building that. So it was at the same exact time. And like, it took a huge amount of the US workforce to do that. Yeah. Like it was a major, those were our two major programs post World War II. And it completely shaped the whole religious and like mental state of our entire country. And that's why they did the killing of the king ritual, which was like one of my last big threads. Like with JFK, that's what this whole Moonchild thing wouldn't exist if we didn't go to the moon. Going to the moon
I see.
was what broke the entire philosophical basis of theology. Like Christianity, when you send a man to the moon and you're like, oh yeah, the heavens aren't actually above the firmament, like that's not heaven. The Genesis of the Bible was lying. Look, we just sent someone up to the moon. That is basically, that creates the Moonchild. Like all this occult shit is all basically, it goes down to sex magic, because that's the most powerful force that human beings can basically create is sex magic. That's how we create new life on the planet. And basically obelisks, all the Egyptian obelisks, those are all phallic symbols. They all represent originally they
Obelisk the Tormentor is packing that huge blue fucking cock.
Dr.
Manhattan, watch out. Obelisk the Tormentor is gonna fuck your ass so hard.
You sacrifice monsters for another inch. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Yes, let's go.
Nice. Right there.
Yeah.
That's Obelisk right there.
Yep, that's right.
Promethean. Yeah, Prometheus. Like that story is like the Lucifer story. It's also like the archetypical, like mythological, it's about like building technology. So it just aligns with that, and it's also like the moon and whatever. So this is it's already in the Western canon, and like this the like Jesus is like a Apollonian deity. It's all kind of exactly aligns with what Drew.
It's basically every 2,100 years we have to come up with a new religion to give to the masses, and basically each 2,000 years they pick the astrological sign that we're moving into. So in the last 2,000 years, we moved into Pisces from Taurus. And Taurus is the bull. So they were all worshiping Baal. And then they move into worshiping Pisces, the Jesus fish.
Okay. The golden calf.
Yeah, exactly. And now we move into, and what was before Taurus? The age of Aries, the Aryans. So,
interesting.
So basically, they switch it slightly each 2,000 years or whatever.
So what are we in now?
Subconsciously, now we're entering the age of Aquarius, which is why we're transitioning from Christianity essentially, or at least the lore.
Water bearer.
Now we're worshiping science, the most fucking gayest shit possible.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that is the top religion, and even more than that, it's science fiction.
Yeah.
Like, and that is exactly
L. Ron
what I'm
Hubbard
talking
shit.
about. Yes, exactly. So after World War II, we have L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons do the Moonchild ritual in the desert, in the Mojave Desert. They create liquid rocket fuel. Jet Propulsion Labs becomes NASA. Werner von Braun, little Nazi scientist, comes over. He wrote the Mars Project. That book says the human Mars colony will be led by a man titled Elon.
Shit.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's like, it's beyond obvious what they're doing. They literally told you, oh yeah, the leader of the human Mars colony will be called Elon. But Werner von Braun.
When was that written?
1943 or 53.
So who is Elon's parents that
His dad's a super billionaire, like a super rich dude.
Yeah, they own like an emerald mine in South Africa. Right?
Forget about his parents. That's not even intensely important. What's really important is his grandfather, who the whole reason he's from South Africa is because his family was kicked out of Canada because his grandfather ran the technocracy party in Canada.
No shit.
Yes. So, and that technocracy party specifically Technocracy is obviously ruled by the leaders instead of democracy. And that technocracy party in particular, their goal was to track every bit of energy input and output of every citizen, which is exactly what they're trying to do right now with the carbon tax.
That's some World Economic Forum shit.
Exactly. No, it's 100% aligned. So when people are like, oh, look at Elon, he bought Twitter, he's against the WEF. It's like, no, he's 100%. He is the WEF. He is ultimate. He is the ultimate. When the WEF gets crushed, when eventually Klaus Schwab gets put down and has no more power because everybody realized, oh my God, he was bragging about controlling your government. When he's finally put down and Musk is now in ultimate power, we're going to get the exact same thing that Klaus Schwab wanted. And they'll probably be laughing and jerking off from an Epstein dungeon, just like Jeff Epstein is right now. But yeah.
That makes so damn, I didn't know about any of this. It's sick. It makes sense because I was already kind of on the Elon's the Antichrist shit, but this backstory is crazy.
Yeah, no, his grandfather was kicked out of Canada for running the Technocracy Party and then went to South Africa because of that. And then Elon was able to fucking shimmy his way back into North America and basically take over all of our industries.
All right, so Drew, what you're saying to me is that Elon Musk is not the Antichrist because of all his tech shit. It's because he's Canadian. Got it.
Yeah, no, that would be enough. That would be enough, to be honest. Anybody from a Commonwealth is just fucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I can't trust you, dude. You're from a Commonwealth. You guys didn't even fight a war of independence. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's a really strong point, actually. Yeah, you got fucking built-in MK Ultra shit.
It's kind of crazy the amount of people coming from our side of Twitter that are like dick riding Elon Musk just because like Twitter is gonna be like better than what it was previously.
Nothing's changed.
That's how they always do it too. That's how they always do it. Is they just promise you that like, okay, some things are going to moderately change in your favor, and then they don't. Which is what happened with Trump. They're like, oh yeah, ooh look, we're taking down Epstein. Oh, he disappeared from his he disappeared from his jail cell. Oh, actually, it looks like we're just going to arrest you guys for being domestic terrorists.
DruTang, I just got off a podcast. Actually, though, I just released a podcast with Lucas, but we were talking about how like most of like public life, politics or otherwise, is just kayfabe. Like WWE wrestling, the storylines are obvious.
Yeah,
and they might give you much like with politics in general and everything that.
And they try to make it. They use the court. The court is their ring. The legal court is the ring of the political WWE, because you're like, oh my God, why would Trump why would he investigate Hillary if he wasn't really against her? Wow. And that's the same
and then
thing
nothing
that
comes
the
of
lip cucks are saying. It's the exact same thing the lip cucks are saying, because they're like, oh my God, why would the Russian investigation? Oh, it would be fake. And then, oh wait, look what happens. Oh, even John Durham, who's investigating the Russia investigation in the first place, which didn't indict anybody for real. Oh, look. Oh, John Durham waited until the statute of limitations went up on the people he charged. Like literally within 7 years, he waited like a couple of days after the statute went up. And then he's like, okay, I'll charge you.
Oh,
so
interesting.
even the Trump counter investigation is also just a complete fucking Florp. They're just playing us for fucking fools. There's like, oh yeah, look at the courts, look at the courts. Oh yeah, we definitely killed Jeffrey Epstein in jail. Oh, but we only showed you one video of his body, one picture, one frame.
This is the thing with me. This is
that dude's fucking so many kids right now.
Oh, but he's still alive, by the way. This is actually half the reason why I got back into WWE. It's I feel like it actually gives you a little bit of insight into like the way people write public spectacle. But
yeah, Logan Paul has really like helped put he's really helped show how that works recently.
Yeah, he actually did. Like you see the crossover between real, like a podcast that's real, crossing over into, it's just like, oh, okay, they just kind of made a slightly more advanced storylines now.
And the whole like trend of like internet celebrities like fighting each other.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of, but like it is so funny to me. But yeah, politics is midway WWE. It makes you feel a little smarter, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If not a little bit
make
more,
a shirt.
if not a little bit more rudimentary, because they don't have to, like, everyone knows it WWE is fake, so they have to make more advanced storylines.
New
honestly.
World Order thought it's like, oh well, Trump was in WWE. We can make this interesting.
Yeah, basically.
He was literally in it. Yeah,
He was literally in it.
He's perfect.
His best friend was Vince McMahon.
And then they just fucking, as soon as he got into office, just made him super cringe.
Yeah, they had better writing for him back.
I love that. Yeah, he literally had Linda McMahon in his cabinet, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do
Do you think that they're gonna have him win 2024?
No, absolutely not. No, I don't think so.
It's a civil war, buddy. They're gonna. Yeah. It's all breaking down.
Yeah,
I would estimate it's either Trump wins 2024 or I think the election is going to happen.
You do?
But I think election the fallout from it is going to be, I don't know exactly how it's going to end up, but there is 100% going to be like an actual secession of states.
There's some balkanization?
Probably Florida.
I'm sure like some state, the legislators are gonna like not validate the
election,
electoral college electors.
There's
gonna be like a legit constitutional crisis over that.
Exactly. Here's the other thing is that midterms are supposed to be a blow off. Like Obama won the House, the Senate, and the presidency and had complete control. But then the midterms were huge and they destroyed, like the Republicans actually fucking destroyed those motherfuckers during the midterms then. Like,
the Tea Party came out
2012. Yeah, exactly. Tea Party. They come out of nowhere. They were fucking usurped and infiltrated. But they come out of nowhere and they wipe shit. Like compared to what we called the red wave in 2022, they destroyed it. Like they did so much better. And so now there's no blow off this time. There's no catharsis. There's no people being satisfied. We're going to get the exact same shit we got for the last 2 years, and people are only going to get madder. There's no blow off top here because they rigged it again. I mean, whatever. I mean, maybe they did rig it, but the fact
I do think this time
people
should stop voting, honestly.
Mail-in voting will allow you to cheat in insane ways, especially if the person you're electing as governor is the one overlooking the election and certifying.
Yeah.
Which is like fucking so
ballot harvesting.
So also now we've decided to do multiple day countings. It's like, all right, you don't even care.
There are fucking like journos referring to the votes counted after election day as the post-election vote.
Yeah, it's like,
wait, are these not part of the actual election? Like, they're just saying the quiet part out loud?
That's literally doublespeak. I love that.
But Drew, like, if this is all theater, then like, wouldn't it make sense for Trump to win 2024 so he has that kind of like redemption arc? Especially if
he's the baby face.
Especially if your friend Donnie Darko, his theory is true, because if his theory is true, then Trump pretty much has to win. If his theories, if Trump loses, then his theory about Trump being the Antichrist is wrong.
But not necessarily in the electoral process. Trump was already the last president.
He won last time for sure.
Biden is not a president. Yeah. He's not actually running this country. Regardless.
I mean, I don't even think
Biden's to go back to the Ernest Lockwood or the.
Do you think that's Biden? Do you think that's really him, or do you think that's a zombified or robot or clone or anything?
Some dude with a mask on.
Doesn't even fucking matter. Yeah. He's not running it. Whoever that person is not running the country. That's
definitely not.
Yeah.
And the person that was before it was also a fucking retard. So it's like you're not improving anything. And fucking Hunter is so guilty of everything. I love the fact that we got him on a CT like space yesterday.
Who? Hunter Biden?
Hilarious. Yeah. Did you not see that?
I missed that.
He was like shilling NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Wait, Hunter
no fucking way. Yeah. Oh my God. I cannot believe I missed that. That's
now
wild.
Realistically, that's the way we gotta go, boys. I think realistically, we just gotta integrate, give Hunter Biden, bribe him, get him into our circles, and then we gotta go SBF mode.
We gotta go full SBF.
What to do?
Wait, can we
get? You can scam people out of billions of dollars and still get the New York Times to write a puff piece about you. All you gotta do is give some of the money to the Bidens. It's that
You're
simple.
good to go. So the kayfabe, our story arc, Donald Trump's going to be babyface. He's going to do his babyface turn. He's coming back. Everyone's going to freak. They're going to start sounding the sirens again. We're going to have secession. We're going to split the Raw and SmackDown brands.
Drew, do you even see a point in voting?
What?
Do you even see a point in voting?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
That's what
I voted one time in 2016 for the Green Party for Jill Stein.
Oh, you didn't even vote for Trump then?
No. The day after I was about to search this, but the day after Trump was elected, I think I tweeted like I was like, oh, the orange clown has won the orange racist clown has won the presidency. Is this a dream or something like that?
Oh, were you a libtard back then?
I mean, I didn't want Trump to win, but I did get super high on election night and watch the results come in via live stream in like the middle of my backyard and see Trump like take the lead with my buddy and be like, oh my God, we both voted third party. And we're like, and we hear over the live
that
stream.
night was so surreal. I remember I got super high too.
This was the best part. We're extremely high over the live stream in 2016. We hear it come over and they're like, third party voters in Michigan have turned the election. And that's literally we're a third party.
I was laughing. I was in New York City and I just remember like when I say like all the streets were like silent, like dead silent. And you could just feel how like not just the first day it happened, like the next day too. Like people were fucking like so like everyone's like sunken over, like I can't believe this is the world we live in. And I do remember laughing because I did bet on him beating Hillary because I was very Bernie at the time. And I was like, if Bernie doesn't win, then it's definitely Trump. There's only these two, like no one's gonna vote for Hillary. It's over.
King.
So it worked out. I bet like $500, like $50 or some shit. It wasn't even like that. Wasn't even $500. But even still, it was very. I was writing articles and shit. It was kind of clear. There's like a wave. One time, what's his face? The British dude, the Brexit people won. It was like okay. Then, no. The guy who recited the Odyssey. What's that dude? Boris, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Once he won, I was like, oh, it's set in. It's like the turn. It's like already him, Bolsonaro, Trump. It was very clear. It's like this is the tide of this year. But yeah, that's cool. That's good. I mean, I would like to see Trump back on Twitter. That's mostly what I want. But I mean, I guess
that would be a game changer.
I actually, part of me thinks they're not even gonna let him. I do like your.
Well, Elon said that he's allowed back on, but Trump doesn't want to.
No, not on Twitter. I'm talking about like a lot of me thinks they're gonna like stop him from even getting to the debates and stuff. But like, though, hearing the Antichrist theory, and the kayfabe, it does make a good kayfabe plot.
No, so here's the other thing. If you want to like get some legitimacy, like some empirical evidence on why Trump's important, like he was born on a blood moon. And that's what we had on the fucking midterms. And mind you, the midterms went horribly for the Republicans. Like they did the absolute minimum. They should have won way more. Like Kerry Lake not becoming Arizona's governor is like, it's so beyond like ridiculous and retarded that like you just got to blame it on the Republicans. But whether or not it's fucking cheating, but basically that blood moon, like Trump was born on the blood moon. It was immediately after the Moonchild ritual that we were talking about before. And think of how much shit has happened since the blood moon. Remember, it was the Rothschild, that the head Rothschild died on that same day, on November 8th. And then we had Sam Bankman-Fried. We had FTX go down same day.
Oh, good point.
And then we had Trump. We had Trump announced the day after, and then we had the moon mission Artemis launched last night at 2 a.m. or actually today at 2 a.m.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, I forgot that the elections were the exact same day this happened. That's a very, very big point.
So that's what's all this is setting up to. Like, I mean, And that's what, like, you're talking about Trump time travel. Like, if Trump is not a time traveler, then this shit makes no sense. It's literally like, it's like Occam's razor. Like, is Trump a time traveler, which made him get elected? His inauguration day was when he was 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days, or was it random? And that's only like, that's one of the things. Like, I think he announced like yesterday when he announced his re-election like campaign. It was like exactly 666 days after like him leaving, or I forget which day it was, but it's like, you know, they do this shit all the time.
I haven't looked much into the numerology shit, but like every time I see like you or Human Vibration or someone like post this numerology shit, I'm like, that's kind of crazy how it always adds up.
Yeah, there's some like big ones. I'm like not like huge on it, like on like some of the more like exact things, but I mean, like, some of it's undeniable.
Yeah, I just don't know how they like plan it so meticulously.
Yeah. It's a ritual, you know. That's part of the
It's funny because really, you know, we always joke about how autistic all of us are on Twitter, but no one's more autistic than the satanic elite. The fact that they're like, oh, well, we got to get this numerology shit. We have to make sure 666 exactly, you know, all that shit. Like, really, the satanic elite are the most autistic individuals alive because of their numerology obsession.
They're schizo posting with their rituals.
They are schizo.
Like, they're beyond the rest of us. So Drew, I know with your main pin thread, you had for like this trifecta of like the false new world order, false saviors of the new world order. You have Kanye, Trump, and Elon.
Oh, that's so good. I gotta read this thread.
Yeah, and all your threads are great. And obviously, if anyone listening hasn't read your threads yet, go to DruTang's pin posts on Twitter. But Kanye is the hardest pill for me to swallow, and I don't want to.
It was for me too, bro. It was for me too. Really, even after Trump.
Listen, we did the Donda episode. We're talking about the satanic rituals.
Look,
again,
this could be me coping, but I still feel like with Kanye, at least, he was like part of it, but he's been trying to get out of it. And I really want to hope that's the truth, that he is just genuinely trying to escape it, and he was part of this cabal, and he
goes in and out. He goes in and out. I agree.
Just consider that they know he wants to get out of it, and they're using that.
Yes.
Which is like, it's the same thing. Really, everything, guys, which, I mean, I don't know what type of platforms you're on with this podcast, but I'll just get into it for real. Like, it's the same exact thing that they did with Hitler. Like, if you looked at Hitler at the time and you saw World War I happen for the reasons it did, like, World War I was over before the US got in. Germany was ready to put all the borders back to what they were before the war. They were ready to let the UK and France, they're like, yeah, we'll let you guys have everything. We're not going to do anything, you know, fucking let's just end the war. The Rothschilds hit up the US the Rothschilds hit up the British government, and they're like, hey, we can bring in the US and win this for you. You have to promise us Israel. So that they got the Balfour Declaration, which if you look at the Balfour Declaration, it was addressed to Lord Rothschild to get Israel. So they got it, and then they brought in the US. The US destroys Germany, and they end World War I. And then if you were looking at that as somebody in Germany, you're like, what the fuck? We are giving them mercy. We are the strongest country. We should have won. And now they brought in another country with lies because of a certain, as to quote Kanye, a certain kind of businessman.
I'm not gonna say what kind.
It was
just a coincidence.
Businessman. So if you were looking objectively at the time, World War II, you'd be like, oh my God, yes, oh my God, he knows exactly who did it to us. So we got to put him in power. And then you see all the money rushing in and the industry, and he rebuilds the whole country. But in reality, all the money and all the industry is from the American industrialists who profited off of the First World War.
Mm-hmm.
And they just won a Second World War, so they destroy Europe again and become the one global superpower next to Russia.
USA.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's dope. It's dope having, you know, like generations of my family being here and like and benefiting off of that. I mean, like both of my grandpas did get drafted and probably got crazy MK Ultra like trauma programmed by that. But I mean, they were decent people.
Thank you,
they probably,
Sam.
Yeah, they probably. I mean, I don't know if they killed many people, but at least not enough to make them like super crazy. And yeah, no, it was dope for that reason, but.
I mean, they wanted to destroy the auto industry.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing where our leaders were like, they're being put up, especially Trump, which is the hilarious part, because it's like, it's kind of a great example of the 0 IQ curve to like mid IQ to super high IQ. It's like, oh, Trump is Hitler. Super low IQ libs. In the middle, oh, Trump's actually doing good shit. And then all the way to the fucking high end. And it's like, oh, wait a second, Trump is Hitler. Like because he's being put up by the most powerful people.
Well, I will say this,
and if you're super right curve, then that means you're going to subscribe to mkultra.gumroad.com right now.
So true.
Or is it? Wait, did I get it? Is it, wait, hold on, wait. Is it? It's MK
He's also right curve, by the way.
mkultramoney.gumroad.com. I couldn't remember the order because we just switched to it.
So actually, the funny thing
subscribe for $5 a month. You'll get this whole uncut episode right there. If you're listening on YouTube like a little cuck, you're hearing the censored version because YouTube is, I'm not gonna say who owns YouTube, but it's a Polish woman. I think she's Polish.
Same thing. That's Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi. But yeah, $5 a month. Get this full uncut episode. It will probably be like 2 hours long. It will say down below how long the actual episode is. But $5 a month. mkultramoney.gumroad.com. Subscribe.
So like what's interesting is this is what I wonder, because I actually I kind of want to figure out what they teach kids these days. Because when I was in school, I also went to school in the South, but in AP history or whatever, they taught you a lot of this shit, like about like Germany was fine, and they taught you about like there was like pressures from the US, and like my teacher didn't say it explicitly, but he kind of implied that like the Lusitania, right, was like a false flag so the US can get in.
Absolutely.
There was
implied really heavily.
There's like documents showing that like the royalty in Britain like knew about. They were talking to other people about the sinking of that ship before it happened. Like. So it's like, it's proven that it was.
Yeah, I was told like the Lusitania, I was told about, my teacher was like, he's like, I can't say this for sure. He wasn't, and he said it in like the whatever fucking diplomatic way you can say it, but he's like, it's very likely that FDR knew about Pearl Harbor. And they, obviously we had the USS Maine, which was in like official canon for fucking AP US history was like, this is a false flag, is the Maine. Gulf of Tonkin, like there's a few, like we did. This is kind of our playbook.
Yeah.
Gulf of Tonkin.
That's when they stopped. And then they were like,
9/11.
Operation Northwoods. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
But JFK was killed by somebody we don't know, and we won't give you any possible reasons for why he was killed either.
Yeah, just
I
remember 1966 or so. We just kind of stopped doing this.
I had a high school like physics teacher that showed us clips from Loose Change.
Oh my god!
That's so based.
Using the falling World Trade Centers as like an example of like objects in free fall, because like
hell yeah,
it was his last year before he retired, and he just didn't give a fuck. And he's
he went mask off.
Yeah,
that rule.
What a king!
That's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, even though the U.S. is known for rigging elections in other countries and toppling dictators,
they would never do that here.
We would never do that anymore. We would never do that here or in Europe, or it's not something we do. Yeah.
Drew, what I gathered from your World War II threads is pretty much that if it wasn't for America, there would be no H-Man. And there would be no NZ group running amok.
Probably, actually.
And they were all funded by, what was it, John D. Rockefeller? Rockefeller.
It was the biggest, so the Rockefellers, obviously they're into oil and whatever. They were supplying Nazi Germany with airplane fuel all the way throughout the war through neutral Switzerland. So that was their interaction. Henry Ford just built straight up tank factories in Nazi Germany and helped them build it. And that was after the war. He sued the US government for destroying his tank factories in Germany, and he won. Henry Ford.
That's so American right there.
That's so American.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was Henry Ford. Then you had, obviously GM was in on it as well.
Yeah.
And then you had IBM, you had Watson.
Yeah, IBM for sure. Yeah.
Watson literally helped them fucking create the infrastructure for the number system that they have for the prisoners in the concentration camps. That was an IBM computer system. And IBM was, everybody in the US in the elite circles were eugenicists.
Yes.
In between World War I and before that even, they knew they were a part of a different class than everybody below them. So they didn't care about drafting them to kill them. They didn't care about fucking forcing them to work. They didn't care about euthanizing them. And the whole Nazi
that's a benefit for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
The eugenics program, even in Mein Kampf, I believe Hitler says he based his eugenics program off of the eugenics program of California in the US. Because they forced sterilized like 80,000 people in the US between 1900 and 19. I think they only stopped in 1970 in the
they did that. I learned that in school too. Latinos, they were forced sterilizing Latinos in California and
I think it was like 2/3 of Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans. Yeah,
in
they
like
fucking
the 60s.
Yeah, they just gave them like
that's if you want to know why the Puerto Ricans don't want to become
hysterectomies.
part of the states. There you go.
Yeah, they gave them emergency hysterectomies, or like just kind of like just didn't tell them. They just were like,
you could pretty much, you can bring every motivation of the New World Order back to two things, and it's either eugenics or profit or both. Literally everything. You're like, oh well, why are they pushing, all this gay stuff? Eugenics. Why are they sending so many people to war? Eugenics. Everything.
Both, literally both. All those scenarios are both.
And it's also profit because, profit.
You make a permanent
pharmaceutical.
They print the money. They don't care about profit.
Yeah,
profit is that's like the follow the money shit. That's like the end of that is like people are like, wait, but they're already rich, therefore they shouldn't have any motivation to get more money. And that's when you get to eugenics.
Yeah, exactly. The money is just the bonus. Like, that's what people don't realize. They think money is the main factor. No, the money is just the bonus. It's like, oh, cool. Well, we can do our sick, twisted goals and still profit off of it. Hell yeah, guys. Fuck yeah, let's do it.
It's all a eugenic religion.
Epstein wanted to seed the human race with his DNA.
Yeah, he was trying to clone himself, basically. Yeah.
It almost always goes back to eugenics.
It always does. And if there's that very slim chance it can't go back to eugenics, then we'll go back to profit. But you always go to eugenics first. That's always the number one.
I mean, if the only reason it would go to profit is that you're part of a lower class who isn't already beyond wealth. Like, there's a certain part of wealth where you can get anything you want. So when you're below that, money matters. But then as soon as you get above that, you're like, oh wait, okay, I'm part of the master class. I'm going to destroy everybody else. And anything that happens to them, they get drafted in the war, they get blown up, I nuke them. It doesn't matter because they're not part of the master race. So
I don't believe we would have war if eugenics wasn't such a big goal of the New World Order.
It's definitely a big part. There are
some skirmishes here and there.
There'll be skirmishes and stuff.
But there would not be these mass scale wars anymore if it weren't for eugenics. Because the U.S. government looks at it as like, all right, well, we can go in there, we can grab oil. Oh, and guess what? We can kill all these undesirables that are retarded enough to fall for our ruse to go fight for us in the name of freedom. Ooh, there's no nukes, there's no threat, there's none of that. I don't believe in any of that shit.
This is always the thing with me when people start talking about nukes is like mutual assured destruction is such a real thing that like they're not going to start a nuclear war because it's just too catastrophic of an outcome.
Yeah, it's like, bro, put down the Fallout New Vegas. It's never happening.
It's never happening. Yeah, like you like if you once you get the nuke, it's like your country is made. That's why North Korea wanted nukes. It wasn't necessarily blow up the U.S. It's literally just because once you get the nuke, you get into like the
upper echelon.
We have a say. Yeah, we have a
sovereignty can't be threatened.
Exactly. You're a real country now. Welcome.
Yeah,
you're one of 10. I can't blame them either. But like, you're one of 10.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're your own thing. And then we're still going to later topple their dictator.
And not to mention, there's so many like intercepting weapons for like defense mechanisms for nukes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you launch a nuke and then what? It gets intercepted and you just throw them back and you start fucking playing volleyball with nukes. Never gonna happen. Like it's just unrealistic. Like all these world nations know that. The fucking retards, the plebs, they clearly don't know that. But all the world nations know. It's like, all right, well, are we gonna play volleyball or are we just gonna,
It's like if you play a video game.
No, here's that. That's the thing, though. That's the thing, though, James. Is like it's literally, that is the setup for the next transition. Like the reason World War II ended decisively was because of the nuclear bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So we use that as a deterrent, and whether or not that actually exists, which I'm not convinced it does, but they use that as the psychological weapon that prevented the rest of the world from even attempting to oppose the US.
Yes.
Is that we have a nuclear weapon, we can destroy you immediately, it doesn't matter. But
here's the thing, you got to pick nuclear because then it follows the Promethean thing. We made our own artificial sun. It's like it's very symbolic in that way.
Yeah, there is a period of like a couple of years after World War II where no one else had nukes. The Soviet Union hadn't gotten theirs yet, and like the U.S. would literally just say to other countries, "Yeah, if you don't do what we want, we will nuke you." Like we
that's
just
how
did
we started the Korean War. We originally were like, all right, let's nuke the zone in between Korea and China, and that will prevent the spread of communism. And that's what my grandpa, my mother's father, got drafted into that war and got blown up trying to build a bridge by a landmine. Survived actually, and then got ran over several times as a volunteer policeman at like homecoming games of local high schools.
What the
like
fuck, really? He survived the fucking
survived that too. He survived that too. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He survived that too for a long time. But I mean, yeah, that's the reason he got drafted, is because the fucking Korean War, they didn't let him just nuke the border. But yeah, no, that's essentially what it is they use after World War II, they use the threat of nuclear bombs. And you can see it even like predictive programming wise. If you look in Alan Moore's The Watchmen, have you seen that verse?
Yes, I was.
So, that's
really come on. I would hope everyone here has seen and read Watchmen.
Yeah, I've read and seen it. Yeah.
So exactly, like Alan Moore, he literally says, "I'm a chaos magician, and I know every type of media that I put out is magic because it influences the mass consciousness." Also wrote V for Vendetta, which is basically 2020. Yeah. Like V for Vendetta is the 22nd letter, so it's like 2020. But anyways,
Swamp Thing or whatever it was, it made like the what are those the extinction motherfuckers like Greta?
Oh, it's like a Extinction Rebellion.
Swamp Thing. Yeah. Swamp Thing is like a super environmentalist like thing too. Yeah.
The people
wrote something about
that's Earth worship. That's Earth.
Yeah, Earth worship. And then he wrote this big ass fucking book, which I never read because it's so goddamn long. But it's like a antichrist multi-generational like thing that's like I do eventually want to get to it just because he's got something. He's doing something.
Speaking of environmentalists,
I think it's called Jerusalem. Actually, I think it's called Jerusalem.
Drew, final decision on Kanye West. Op or trying to escape?
Dude, he literally named himself fucking Yay. It's the fucking how they reference the reader in the Bible the entire time.
Oh yeah, yeah, good point.
Like, what else do you want? He's literally saying, if you believe in the Bible, trust me, because I'm the one they're talking about the entire time.
But he doesn't say that. I'm gonna cope harder with Kanye. I'm gonna cope and fight you.
Oh, ye of little faith. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh, ye of little faith.
He never outright like try. Well, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
he did. He
ain't try
actually
shit,
did,
but
I
I remember fucking Jesus. I am a god. But since then he is not.
It's almost worse now. It's almost worse that he's like, not like he's, I don't know. But I mean, no, I
do think
I love the guy. His music's amazing. I love the whole bipolar is the superpower thing. As a mentally ill person myself, I mean, he's a champion for his squad.
He's champion. He's holding the torch for us.
But I mean, no, I mean, like everything he does is not going. I mean, the funny thing is, there's really nothing we could do to advance like the truth. Even if you expose the truth like Kanye's doing right now, it's still going to be misinterpreted. You'll still be destroyed. Yeah. And it's not like, that's the thing about all these people like Alan Moore. We were talking about Watchmen before. So there's fucking Dr. Manhattan, which is the clear Elon Musk stereotype where he goes off to Mars to be in solitude. And he even in the comic books, he causes the shift into electric vehicles and all this shit. Like Alan Moore says he's a chaos magician, which like all the shit he does, all the predictive programming, people are like, there's no way they could plan this and then have the predictive programming happen. They're right, because it's chaos. It's chaos magic. If you just project a certain possibility, a certain timeline, and you get the most mind power behind it, the most attention behind it, then you can change the way the world goes. Not because you wanted it to happen, but just because you put it out there and chaos shifts, just the energy shifts.
This was the will to power. This was what Nietzsche was trying to tell people. This was will to power. This was faith. This is, the Bible talking about faith. Will to power is chaos magic. Yeah.
And it's like it's a yin and yang balance. So even if Kanye believes, even if he believes in his heart of hearts that he's doing the right thing, and he's speaking the truth, which I mean, I don't know if I was in Kanye's position, I don't know how I would speak differently. I don't know how I'd try and get the message apart differently than the way he's doing it. But at the end of the game, it gives us no benefit to put ourselves on the line to defend Kanye the person. If somebody wants to talk about individual beliefs or things that Kanye has said, then I'll tell them my opinion on the things he said or the evidence backing up certain aspects of what he said. But I won't defend at this point. If somebody says Kanye's retarded, I'll be like, yeah, okay, sure, Kanye's retarded. Whatever.
Yeah, like, I'm with you.
I'm like, Kanye's retarded. Like, yeah, he put out his message in a bad way, and I'm not going to put myself on the line to defend it. Now, if you want to say things that Kanye said are retarded, then I'll go down the line with you and explain to you like what parts he's right about and what part he's wrong about.
This is what I did with my article. I was like, listen, I'm not defending him.
That's all there is to it.
He has some opinions that make sense. I'll give you my opinion, but that's it.
I think for me, as an artist, a filmmaker, comedian, all these types of things, it makes me want to dick ride him more just because of how much I love his art and how much it means to me. And I don't want to come to a reality where Kanye has been a psyop all along, or at least an intentional psyop.
Yeah, useful. I mean, he oscillates between like saying the truth and they're letting him say what he wants versus he's being a shill versus he's a useful tool.
Yeah, a useful tool though is completely different.
He's in useful tool mode right now. Is what I think Drew's saying. Yeah. Like right now, he regrets going back with Donda 2. And he's like trying to break free.
Well, he just said his mom was a sacrifice.
That oh my god, that was such
MK Ultra money vindicated.
We're so vindicated.
We're vindicated.
Ben Harley,
we're so vindicated.
We're vindicated
for a year, dude. Drew, for a year,
he proved both MK Ultra and sacrifice. He proved both of them.
For a fucking year, people have been replying to that video. My fucking notifications still ring for that.
What I think is best case scenario.
Which video there's?
Well, me and Jimbo, we explained the Donda conspiracy by him going back to the Satanic Elite. and how it was like a energy harvesting ritual with the house and shit like that. And we explained that, and people were like, "Oh, you don't know," and I was like, "Nah, dude, it's like."
Yeah, this was back in February.
This is when we explained like mom's a sacrifice, all that shit, and people were giving us shit, but he said it explicitly, so vindicated.
I really want to hope that Kanye at worst is a useful idiot for them, and they're just using him, but he's trying to escape, and it generally feels like he is, and I need to cling on to that until I can see some definitive proof otherwise. The two hardest pills for me to swallow would be for Kanye and Alex Jones both being either controlled opposition or straight up bad.
I genuinely believe both of them have the same exact arc. They were being used. They kind of did like a on and off thing, and then they both decided to speak out as like a last ditch, and they got fucking canceled.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kanye did this on purpose to like hopefully remove himself, but it does make him an example, right? They can go, I made an example of this person who like denied us. So it makes you a useful idiot ultimately. Where Alex Jones getting a fucking, what is it, $1 trillion?
Crazy.
How did they manage to wipe Pizzagate and still get all of Reddit to be like, Jeffrey Epstein, did he kill himself? How did you manage to do both of them in the same, like
because you can't deny Epstein. Epstein was the focal point. That's what Epstein was very specifically. He was killed on the 9th of Ab, which is the 9th day of the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, which is the inverse of the 11th day of our 9th month, 9/11, following the two temples, following the two towers.
Oh shit.
Epstein was killed on the falling of the two temples, 9th of Ab. I think it was literally August 10th of that year, which is like, the 9th of Ab does not usually fall there. But it also the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood about
one of my favorites.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. Well, guess what day did they say that fucking attack happened? The Satanist attack with they came out and stabbed everyone.
I did see it. I don't remember. What day was it?
Well, I'm sure James might, but anyway,
it
was August 9th.
I don't remember the fucking date.
It was August 9th. It was August 9th. So they did they did the same thing. They literally in the movie they had the Satanist attack happen on that was the first movie by fucking goddamn whatever Tarantino, whatever the fuck his name is. That was the first movie he did without Weinstein.
Is it really?
And and because Weinstein was arrested at the time. So Weinstein and Epstein were two ritual sacrifices. You know about the fucking
there was the same year. It was the same year,
Yeah. It was literally that was the first movie they did without Weinstein, and
he fucking started talking about pedos.
You're familiar with like the Orthodox Jews in New York where they kill the chickens and they put all their sins onto the chicken and they kill the chicken.
Yes,
that's what they did with Epstein and Weinstein.
Oh, interesting.
They put all the sins onto them and they killed them in public.
Interesting.
And that's the exact same thing. That's what they do over and over again.
No, listen. Well, that's
ritual sacrifices.
All right, so Drew, Alex Jones, psyop or based?
Yeah, you're really just making me destroy all my idols there.
He's my idol too. Alex Jones is at the top of the list of people I want on the podcast. Are you kidding me? He's my idol.
I love you, bro. I hugged Alex Jones. You saw that picture, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see the picture.
Yeah. It was that was that at Barton Springs? Was that Barton Springs?
Yeah.
I just moved to Austin, so I'm like, oh shit. I recognize
it. Yeah, literally Barton Springs, I hiked like 30 minutes down there. Gave him a great big hug, and I'm still charged off it today, but I mean, he called everything. He called 9/11. He had his viewers calling in to the White House and saying, please don't destroy the Twin Towers and blame it on Osama bin Laden. Like he did so much. He called everything right and saying
I agree with you there. I can't keep that on YouTube, but for Gumroad,
you're not putting those on YouTube? Okay, great.
No,
I'm with you. Crisis Actors.
I edit it. That's gonna be the full thing.
Oh, perfect, great.
On Gumroad and then edit it for YouTube.
Me and Nick went back there. It's like here's another. Put this only on the Gumroad because this is actually a federal crime.
Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when part 2 drops. And if it's already out by the time you watch this, click here to see it now. Thank you.